Hey everybody, welcome to American Idol Unaired. I'm your host Bennett Shear, back with another singer that you didn't see on season 20 of American Idol. Please welcome Colby Cobb.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh man, so excited to talk to you. Heard a lot about you, and I cannot wait to get to know you. So tell me a little bit more about yourself, Colby. I'm really excited to get to know you, hear your story. So take it away.
My name's Colby Cobb. I just turned 19, birthday August 20th. Um, I started playing guitar in seventh grade. And then I didn't start singing actually until 10th grade. I met some friends, Mia Matthews, JC Matthews, and they kind of got me into singing. I started writing songs last year, actually. First full song ever written was actually for Idol. So like whenever I auditioned, I did not say they asked me if I wrote songs, and I was like, no, I did not, because I did not want to, I written
Right.
choruses, but didn't want to really sing one on there. Um, and then 2 weeks before the audition, I just I was like thinking about my story and everything, and I wrote a song, and then I sent it to my friend Mia and JC, and they sent it to their mom, and their mom sent it to my producer, and they basically said I was doing that song that I wrote for the audition. And then after that, I've just been writing ever since.
That's pretty remarkable that having no experience whatsoever with songwriting, your first attempt is enough to have the producers thinking, hey, we want you to go on TV and sing this.
Oh yeah, it was nerve wracking. I
Did you have much performance experience, like just without original songs, like covers, or
so I started gigging my I'd say whenever I was like 16 or 17. I don't actually like the exact date, but this is before I was writing songs. Started gigging. I did my first gig at a Christian coffee shop. So like only Christian songs, only Christian covers. And then I had another gig after that. And that was the only thing I had done before Idol. And since
wow.
Idol, I've been gigging everywhere I can.
There's such a variety of artists who have a lot of experience, whether it's because of their age or just their time in the music industry. Some artists are scouted, others sign up for themselves. But, you know, while some people kind of just use Idol as a platform because they've already had somewhat of a career in music, for people like you, it's a springboard. I think you haven't done as much, but yet going on the show, getting all this advice from the judges, meeting other artists you can work with, really allows you to kind of open up your world even more to what you've already been doing, and sort of this natural talent that you've always had. You really tap into even more, and I think that that's probably how you have benefited from being on that show.
Oh yeah, I definitely think I was supposed to be on that show to meet the people, because since then it's like I'm a different person now, if that makes sense. I don't know who I'd be without meeting the lifelong friends that I have now.
Yeah, it's incredible in such a short period of time because you're with them really for not that long, but then these relationships continue, and then really you get to know them kind of once the show is over, I imagine, and then you really build on those friendships.
Oh yeah. Like one of my so we went there, we got there, and like the second that we got on the bus, like from the airport, like we started sharing our songs with each other. It was a great experience. Me One of the people that was there, we realized that we only lived an hour away from each other. So the second we got back home, we hung out.
Is that Corey Curtis?
Oh yeah, Corey Curtis. Love him. But yeah, Corey Curtis, and then I think a month later, I'm still talking to all the friends. Like we used to FaceTime all the time. Um, but Jordan Blue, he lives in Louisiana, and I was like, what if I just drive there? It's only 6 hours. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so I did. And yeah, gosh, it's so amazing. It's surreal that we met at Idol, and we're still hanging out now.
I know it's an emotional experience because a lot of times people talk about the bond that you have because it's unlike anything else to be on TV, to be filmed, and to possibly have all this exposure. But what does that feel like to go from being on a show having cameras around you to actually having these people really in your lives. There's no cameras, you're not doing anything for TV. It's like a real thing now. So how does that feel?
Well, see, we hung out more like at Idol. The first day we made group chats, and once we got back to the hotel, we were hanging out. We sung around by the pool and just for hours into the night. And we were just like that was real. Like there were no cameras there or anything. Like, that experience right there. And even when there were cameras, it was still the same essence because we had the hotel experience. I do one time I was being filmed for B-roll. I was standing by the ledge looking out at the water, and they had the camera like hidden far away, and I was just sitting there, and all of a sudden I feel like arms embrace me, and Jordan Blue comes up, hugs me from behind, and I'm like, I don't know what to say because I'm being filmed, and producer comes, what are you doing? And move out the way, we're filming. And that Jordan was like, oh my gosh, no, I'm sorry. And then he was standing off to the side. He was like, where are the cameras? Where are they? I'm like, in the bush.
Oh my gosh, man, they plant those things literally in a bush.
Yeah. I didn't really feel like we were different in front of the cameras. It felt authentic. This, at least the people I was around.
I mean, even starting music from seventh grade, was there one thing in particular that really inspired you to become a musician, whether it's artists that you listen to or just a particular reason why you wanted to take a shot with music?
I really like the fact that you can like put your like with songwriting, okay? You can put your emotions and like your from your experience. So like wrote a song about a certain experience and people can relate to that. And I love the way that you can make people feel a certain emotion from words that you came up with in your head.
Mm-hmm.
I love being able to make someone have like chills from holding out a note. It's amazing.
Yeah. That's like such a perfect description of why somebody makes music. I think that every artist would hear what you just said and be like, "Yep, that's it." Um, I'm curious if you want to share more about that song that you wrote that you performed on the show, because now I'm curious about there was something in those lyrics, man, or that melody, or I don't know what it was, but the producers.
So basically, I grew up moving around all the time. Single mother. I never knew my father, and I didn't really used to talk about it. But whenever I like audition for Idol, was talking to producers, they're like they want to know everything,
Yeah.
and so that really got me thinking a lot about the subject of my life, And I was just up one night at 3 a.m. and I just started writing, and I was like, "Whoa, okay." That song, I don't. It's so personal. I'll do it if you want me to.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah, I would love to hear it later on. Yeah, that'd be great.
yeah, I think I did it at Idol, and I've done it 3 or 4 times since.
You tapped into that authenticity, and I think that when you have the talent vocally and you know how to construct a song, again, there's all these ingredients. You've got melody, you've got words and everything, but when something means a lot to you, I feel like that is exactly why you were able to explain so perfectly what it means to you to be an artist, to allow people to feel these emotions that are coming out of your brain. It's like because it's so specific to you. This is your experience. And if anybody else has been through something similar to you, they relate to that. Or if they haven't, they can maybe understand it or empathize. And I feel like that is something that maybe it's rewarding for you or it means a lot as an artist when you can touch somebody regardless of whether or not they've been through the same things as you.
Mhm. Yes, yes, yes.
What were your expectations just going into this show? Because not only are you trying to get yourself out there as a musician, but just the mere thought of being on TV potentially, going on these Zoom calls with producers when there's so many other people auditioning for the show at the same time. Were you expecting to make it as far as you did? Did you have the confidence? How are you feeling about it?
At that time, I was going to Baylor, like I was going as an incoming freshman. And when Idol auditions happened, I was like, oh, what if I try this? what if I do this? What, like, the possibility? Because I wasn't as serious with singing, like being a musician. It was just like I just did it. I'd only done 2 gigs, and so I did it, and then I took gap semester, and then it got me thinking, like, what if this could be my life?
Hmm.
And I was just really going into it, just like whatever happens, happens. Um, Not really like, oh, I'm going to make this. I'm going to go as far as I can. Well, I was, as far as I can, but I wasn't going to. I didn't go in with the expectation that I am going to get there. Um, but I honestly feel like I was meant to be there to meet the people,
Mm.
because of the people there, I am who I am now, and I am as far with music as I am now.
I'd love to hear about these producer auditions and the songs you sang, and if you had any feedback, because this is before you make it to the judges. So I don't know how specific any of the producers were with you.
So audition via Zoom, and I sang "Creep" by Radiohead, my own like rendition of it. This is for the first one, the open call. Creep by Radiohead, and then he asked me to sing another song, and so I sang "You Somebody" by Kings of Leon, and then he was like, he was like, I can tell you love doing this. I can tell you love, like, enjoy singing. And he was like, do you have another song? And I was like, yeah. And so then I sang Lady by the Sea, by Steven Sanchez. Love him. Um, and then he said, can you sing Creep again? And I was like, oh no, what is going on? And so sang Creep again. I already sang 4 songs. This is the open call. And he was like, I already made up my mind after you sang Creep. I just wanted to hear you sing. I was like, whoa,
Ah,
okay.
oh,
That's cool. And so then after that, they sent me through to the next round, where I sang for the executive producers. And yeah, and then I sang for them, same lineup, except I did not sing Creep again. And they were like, we're going to send you through to the judges' auditions. And I was like, no way. No way. And so then after that, they had me go to another Zoom call where I recorded the songs that I just sang. And then I had a meeting with the story producer. And then, yeah, that was along between that was all on the same day. Between that day and when I flew out, I think I had a couple Zoom calls with a story producer, and then one of the executives.
yeah, we haven't talked a ton on this podcast about what you guys do with story producers. Would you want to maybe explain a little bit about that process?
They get you to tell them everything about you, and then they try to structure it, because I could go on a tangent about every single little thing that goes on. So I really told everything. It's different for everybody, but I told him everything. It lasted like 2 hours, just talking talking about my life, like putting that all out there. And they really said just to be me, like when I go in there. Um, yeah, and just they made sure that I was comfortable with the stuff that I said, like saying it on TV before anything, like before any of the other interviews happened. With me specifically, they said to focus on this whenever I go in there, and then maybe later on we can add in the other stuff.
So they are kind of asking you to pinpoint certain things, but they also are reminding you to stay true to yourself and not
Yes,
telling you how they want you to say something or phrase something or, only talk about this or only talk about that. But, you know, essentially they kind of figure out what the highlights are for them and this is what we think you should touch on in maybe the judge's room or when you get to digital or when you get to your interview, things like that.
yes.
Gotcha. So in that process, I mean, there's not just story producer meetings, but there's a lot that you got to think about when you're going on TV because you're not just singing, but there's going to be cameras. And were you kind of excited to get into that TV headspace, or was it all sort of new and overwhelming?
Both, both. I was excited. I loved it. I loved it. Actually, on my audition day, I started out the day. I can't remember if we woke up at 5 or 6 in the morning. I don't know. I can't remember, but it was around there. And the second I got there, they had me go do some B-roll by the lake, and then they had me go back. They had me ride back to the resort, and then they took me to the Moment Like This room. And then right after the Moment Like This room, they took me into the 180 room. And then after the 180 room, we were walking out, and there was one of the producers, I guess, she was like walking me to my next spot, and I was like, "Where are we going?" And she was like, "Holding," and I was like, "Okay, holding for what?" And they were like, "Your audition." I was
Oh
like,
my
"What?"
God.
Like it was all back to back. I think I got to sing my song like one time through before singing it in front of them.
Wow. So I'm trying to think if I've talked to anybody else who had that experience, and I'm wondering, of course, we'll talk about what happened in the judges' room, but overall, do you think it worked to your advantage to just have everything be go, go, go because you were just in the moment, or was it hectic?
Me personally, I would have felt better with like being able to practice before, because you don't really there's not really an exact time of when you go whenever
Right.
you audition. It's just there's an order.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know, I would have felt better if I had time to practice, but I get they had to fit everything in, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you were in Austin, right?
Yes, I was in Austin.
So I want to talk about what happened when you got the judges. But first, before we get there, guys, if you are enjoying this conversation and if you have not already hit the subscribe button wherever you are listening or watching, hit that subscribe button. If you are on Apple Podcast or Spotify or you're watching on YouTube, you'll see that button. Just click it so that when you listen or watch future episodes of American Idol Unaired, you will not miss anything. All right, back to the conversation. Let's talk about the judges' room. You're at holding. You have been go, go, go all day doing so many different things. And now this is it. You walk in there. What's going on in your mind when you see those judges?
So actually, before I walk in there, they said, "Go, go, go! You have to be quick." And so like this is walking out of the holding room to the judges' room. I walked through the wrong door.
Mm.
Walked in, and there's just producers around me. I was like, this doesn't feel right. Like literally in my head, I was just imagining, not a, like putting the picture of watching the show and seeing the people walk through the door and the judges are right there. I'm like, this doesn't feel right. And so I look over there and there's a door over there. And I was like, oh crap. So I walk back out, keep walking, and then walk in. Um, they're having a conversation about something else, and I'm just standing there watching them having a conversation. And I'm like, do I say, hey, do I interrupt them? Do I just wait for them to finish? Yeah, that I was like, there's no way this is real right now. They were farther than I thought they would be. Um, and that was kind of better for me personally, them being farther than way up close. Um, but yeah, no, it was crazy. And then Katie was like, well, let's bring our attention to him. What's your name? And then yeah, I said my name and I said where I was from. Actually, I so I'm from Center, Alabama. And so I was like, I'm from Center, Alabama. And Lionel said something about how he's from Alabama. He said, every year we do Idol, there's always someone new from a city in Alabama that I've never heard of. And I was like, yeah, Center, Alabama, crappy capital of the world. And then they were like, what? Well, Katie was like, what? And I was like, crappy capital of the world, because there's two different ways to say it. And then Luke was like, crappy, like Katie was like, are you sure you want to call your hometown crappy on national television? And I was like, no, I'm not saying that. And Luke was like, the fish, Katie. Um, yeah, then I got to singing. I sang my original song, Make Believe. That's the name of it, by the way. Um, yeah, it was nerve-wracking. I could feel myself like shaking,
Hmm.
but I tried to, I don't know, it kind of went away as it went on. But then oh wait, I'm here in the audition room with Katy Perry, Lionel Richie, and Luke Bryan in front of me. Like it's just surreal.
Wow, it's so funny. I'll have to fact check this, but I'm pretty sure I was talking to Corey Kurtz the other day, and he was saying that when he walked in, the judge's desk looked like closer than he thought it was going to be, and you said it was farther away. So I guess everybody has a different perspective. Obviously, it's a crazy moment to even perceive anything, but for everybody, you go in there and you're like, wait, this is probably not for anybody how it was like looking on TV.
Hmm.
And like the sound isn't the sound coming from all different directions because they have the speakers?
Yes, so the sound was actually coming from my left. So it was like I heard them talk, but my head would go that way to the left. It was weird, and I couldn't feel myself singing, if that makes sense. Um, it's usually like you can feel where it resonates. Whenever you're singing, like you're in it. But then when I was actually singing for the judges, like I could hear myself, I could hear the guitar, and it was like it wasn't coming from me.
Yeah. So it's like the acoustics combined with the surrealness and the nervous energy just probably makes for a very out of body experience for all involved.
Oh yeah.
I know we're going to hear that song in a little bit, but tell me how it went. I want to hear what the judges thought, how you felt your performance went.
I'm pretty sure it started with Katie. Katie said no, because she wanted me to get more experience and come back. Um, they loved my songwriting, but that was Katie's. Luke was like, "Oh, I really, I really want, I really want to like just take you out and mentor you." But and I was like, "Let's do it." I think I said that. Um, and he was like, "No, I think you just need to get more experience." And Lionel said yes. Um, but yeah, they said get more experience and to come back. And like in my head, I was like, I can't take another gap semester. um, but yeah, I mean, that's that's really that's what they said.
Katie said no. Luke said no.
Hmm.
So, okay, so you didn't go to Hollywood.
No, I did not. It definitely wasn't like, oh my gosh, everything's ruined. They said I sucked. It
Yeah.
wasn't that. Um, I appreciated the feedback that they gave. They just told me to get experience, and which I do need, which I'm getting. I took their advice. I'm gigging, writing more music, and it can only go up.
You're probably are doing so much more since American Idol than you were before you walked into that room before you got on that show. That
Oh
was almost a year ago now.
yeah. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I've done so much since then, and most of that's because of the people I met. I've done a gig in Louisiana with Jordan and Hazy and Corey. I've done a writers round in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, at the listening room, which was crazy. And like for me, like doing only originals, that was a year ago. I would not imagine me doing that. Me, Carrie Brockwell, and Corey Curtis, we opened up for this person named Brian Dunn in Virginia, which is really fun. Um, yeah, no, I'm definitely getting more experience. With the experience I had last year around this time and this year, significantly different.
Any other names you want to throw out there from like people you met in Austin or just connections you made with other contestants?
We had, the big group chat, like everyone, me and I'm pretty sure Jordan, we went around on the first day, got everyone's Snapchats and stuff. In the holding room, we made this like circle. Like we all had our own like not cliques, but like had our own like group circles and stuff. And
Right.
I remember our blue circle group. That's we had a blue circle in the group chat. But it was me, Gary Brockwell, Corey Curtis, Fritz Hager, and Jillian and Robbie Clark.
Cool.
And oh, that was like oh, that was awesome. I can't even put it into words. I wouldn't trade that experience, the people I met, for anything.
Mm. Yeah, that's what's so interesting is that again, all these perspectives that the typical idol viewer wouldn't realize. It's like they think, "Oh my gosh, no way you got to meet the judges," but you guys are probably thinking, "I got to meet all these people. No disrespect for the judges, but I got to meet Carrie Brockwell, Corey Curtis, Fritz Hager, Jordan Blue. I mean, and the list goes on and on. It's like
Mm.
these are all people that are doing what you're doing, peers and people that have the same passion as you. And I feel like that's a bond that nothing else compares to.
I yeah I Also I we went in our free time when we were back at the hotel. Me, Rachel Chu, and just the whole group of us. Yeah, we went to Chili's.
Mm,
And it was Rachel's first time at Chili's. It wasn't even like just the singing; it was the being around them. I don't know.
yeah. I'm curious if music is part of what you do at Baylor at all, or if it's kind of leaving school and music aside from each other.
I'm actually majoring biochem pre-med. That was like since middle school, that was dream to be a doctor. And I didn't discover, singing, writing songs until late in high school. I already had everything planned out. I'm still pursuing music, but not majoring. But I'm actually, what was it? After Dark. It's a showcase for Baylor's top talent and stuff. I'm actually doing that this weekend.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
yeah, I'm doing an original "So-Called Love" for that. That's my favorite song I've written. I actually wrote that a week or two after we got back from Idol. So I'm doing that. I'm working on getting music out right now. So-Called Love will be the first single I drop. I'm trying to keep music in my life right now,
Yeah.
but I'm having to focus on school.
Well, absolutely, but you definitely answered what I was kind of wondering about finding ways to stay involved on campus. I mean, that's great. You're pursuing your lifelong dream, but then also finding ways to stay engaged with music and show other people because it's like being on a college campus, you've got that perfect audience to show people your music. And whether you're at a music school or you're at a school for anything else, just being around people that love to listen to music, I'm sure it's an awesome opportunity.
Oh yeah, literally last Friday. I find so I've been doing the open mics here as well.
Uh-huh.
And last week I met two other guys who sang. And one of them, Major, he texted me last Friday and he was like, "You want to go sing in a stairwell?" I was like, "Bet. This is what I've been
Yes.
waiting for." um, and so we did. And we ended up writing a song there too. And 2 hours go by, we're still in the same stairwell. Two guys walk by, they're like, y'all are awesome. Can we sit here? Can we sit here? And we were like, yeah. And then he was like, I play cajon, the Vox drum. Can I go get it? And we were like, yes,
Oh,
you go get it.
wow.
And so he came back with that, and then two girls passed by, and they were like, can we just sit and listen? And we were
Oh,
like,
that's where it's
yes, you
at.
can. So seven of us were just in the stairwell, just singing. We ended up being there for like 6 hours.
Is this like a nighttime thing, a middle of the day?
Um, Me and Major went at 5 p.m.
I'm so happy that you're able to do both things, you know? I mean, and it's the simple things. Like you probably never would have expected that these people that I don't who knows what major may who knows what majors in and who knows what all of these other people who, box drum kid, who knows what he's up to and what they're actually there studying, but yet this group of all all find a love for music and the rest of your time at school, whether it's the performances or just the times you decide to go in the stairwell, you never know
Yeah.
who's going to be into what you're doing. So I think that's really awesome. What's the inspiration for So-Called Love? I want to hear about it.
Okay. So, So-Called Love is a song about being in love with your best friend,
Mm.
but not being able to like say anything because you don't want to ruin, the
Mm-hmm.
friendship there. Um, but yeah, I've experienced it before.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And so I just woke up and I was like, let me write this.
I'm really dying to hear you sing, man. But before you do that, I just want to say, if you guys have listened this far or you've watched and you really enjoyed this interview so much so that you wouldn't mind writing a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you may be listening, even if you're watching on YouTube, go to one of those audio apps and write a review. That helps us get featured more on the homepage and the algorithm gets driven up. If you wouldn't mind and you really like this podcast, go to Apple Podcasts or wherever you may be able to listen and write a review. Thank you very much. Colby, tell us a little bit more about this song because you mentioned it as your audition original, and we're going to hear it in just a minute.
Make Believe is about my life growing up and like my thoughts, I guess, like the what was going on through my head. And it's kind of like an it's okay song to anyone else who has gone through just the single mother, absent father, just that kind of life.
It's okay, songs are important, and I'm really excited to hear this one. So whenever you're ready, take it away.
Used to wish I was somebody else. with a mother who could love herself, and a father who just was around. Wish I could see his face now. Used to watch all my friends leave from school. Wondered how it would feel in their shoes, unafraid of the future to be. Oh, I wish I could see. I wish that was me, but it's not my fault. I grew up before I got old, and it's not your job to make me fit inside your mold. Wish I could forget, but I was just a kid playing make-believe. Used to wonder who I would be. Tried my best so that I would succeed. Never strayed, never broke any rules. Oh, I wish you could see me for me, but it's not my fault. I grew up before I got old, and it's not your job to make me fit inside your mold. Wish I could forget, but I was just a kid playing make-believe. Playing make-believe. Yeah.
Wait, so is this, am I correct, was this the first song you wrote?
First full song.
What? I don't know what all I have to say is that I love doing this podcast because I get to hear people like you sing songs like that live.
Thank you.
Wow. Oh, man. God, that's so good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I had written that year. That's when I had started. So like last year, I guess. Started writing like choruses and verses, but just choruses and verses.
Yeah.
And that one, literally 3 a.m. started writing it. Stayed up until like 5. I was like, holy, wow.
Yeah. No, like I can tell how much it means to you. Like not just the story of the song, but performing in general. Like
Thank
I feel like ever since you decided that music is what you want to do, you realize that like that's part of what you were put on this earth to do.
you.
You know, there's the part of you that wants to be a doctor, but there's also a part of you that's here to make music, and
Yeah.
you sing songs about things that mean something to you, and then hopefully they mean things to other people. Again, like we said, they don't have to go through the same thing, but they can sit there and listen like I just did and just marvel at your voice and your songwriting abilities and how it all comes together. Because again, you're not just playing a cover. Nothing wrong with cover songs, but this is Colby Cobb, and that was amazing.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm no judge, just sometimes I'm sitting here like, what the hell am I supposed to say? This dude heard from Katy Perry and Luke Bryan and Lionel Richie. I'm like, what am I supposed to say? I
No,
guess all I can do is just speak from the heart, man. That was absolutely incredible.
thank you. If you want to hear "So-Called Love,"
You read my mind. I was gonna say, Colby, I want to hear a little bit of so-called love. Once we're in it, why not, right?
yeah, we're here. I had a dream, I fell in love. It was you, and now I'm stuck. 'Cause we're just friends, and I know how this story ends. I'll pretend that I moved on, and my heart will bend. I don't think I want this love. so great, why is it hurt this much? And I'm just driving around with no destination place. Just wanna take my hands off the wheel, don't know how much more I can take. Can we just stop? 'Cause I can't go. Don't know how much more my soul can take. Don't want to pay the toll of this so-called love when it costs this much. I wish my heart could stop to think a bit. I don't know if I can love someone new is in your arms. I can feel us drifting apart, but that's okay, 'cause I never made my feelings clear. I'm paralyzed by your love and blinded by my fear. Can we just stop? 'Cause I can't go. Don't know how much more my soul can take. Don't want to pay the toll of this so-called love when it costs this much. I wish my heart could stop to think a bit. I don't know if I can love when the pressure's building up and my world is caving in. Where do I fit into your life when I'm barely holding on to mine? Can we just stop? 'Cause I can't go. Don't know how much more my soul can take. Don't want to pay the toll of this so-called love when it costs this much. I wish my heart could stop to think a bit. I don't know if I can love. If I can love, if I can love, I don't know if I can love. Yeah.
Wow, bravo, man. There
Thank
was a
you.
little moment, and I don't know if it was like it might have been like one of the pre-choruses, and I don't know if it was an ad lib or something where you were kind of humming, and it was like, I was kind of, I felt like it was like representative of your pain, like you were holding on to this feeling that you couldn't let go of because you can't express how you're feeling to your friend, and
Oh,
that's kind of like something I don't know if that was intentional, but I felt that.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the pre-chorus,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, that's like more of a I wanted to convey the feeling that like you could I did the O's and the ms because the pain you can't really put it into words, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And by what you just told me, it worked.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I feel like yeah, that's well, obviously you're the artist, so however you see it is exactly how it goes. But wow, that's so interesting because it's everything you're feeling and everything you can't say, but you just put it all out there in a song, and then you had this outlet to express everything that you were feeling. We got to hear it.
Thank you.
Are you writing often? Do you have a lot of different stuff in the works? Tell me about what's coming up from you.
Yeah, I mean, I just wrote a song last week. Um, that one's called Way Back Home. It's about long distance relationship. I have a bunch of songs. I'm actually gonna be working with the producer soon to get my songs out there because I really want to just put my music out there in the world.
Oh yeah. Do we know like anything about stuff getting on Spotify or any of the DSPs?
No, there's no times yet.
Mm-hmm.
There's no date yet. But
Gotcha.
I mean, I'll definitely be posting on my socials whenever there is, and we'll see what the future holds.
Where can people go to stay tuned on whatever happens next for you, social media wise, online?
So all my social handles are the same. It's Colby Cobb, but X's instead of O's. So CXLBY, CXBB. That's my Instagram, my TikTok. I mainly post more on like my Instagram stories. I post consistently on my reels. And yeah, so once I get more information about when my music's coming out, it'll be on Instagram and TikTok. But yeah, go ahead and follow me on both.
Anything else that you want to just say about being on American Idol or any of the memories, kind of your reflections on being on the show?
I fully believe I was meant to be on that show to meet the people there. I don't know who I would be without meeting them. I know it was only a year ago, but they have changed me to the person I am now. And yeah, I would not trade that for anything.
Mm. Well, guys, one more time, if you enjoyed this conversation, you can hit that subscribe button on Apple Podcast or Spotify or any of the platforms you are listening on. Or if you're watching, you can still hit the subscribe button on YouTube. You can follow us on Instagram or TikTok at Idle Unaired Podcast. And again, you can leave a review on Apple Podcasts or any of the listening platforms. You can also give us a rating. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching. And Colby, thank you so much for being a part of American Idol Unaired.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.